Welcome to James losing his voice right off the bat. The final After Dark, Simply Stogies After Dark, our only live show right now. Once a month, our only 2 cigar show. We go from 8 to 10. The first Friday of every month. This is the last time we do it. So welcome to the final one. I appreciate you guys spending some time with us. And, the first Friday of every month for the last, I don't know, year or so, maybe a little longer than that. It's been a lot of fun, but things have to change and we're always evolving. We're always trying to do things better. And this is it. So it's time for us to say goodbye to this show. And we've got a whole lot of stuff that we're going to talk about that's coming up. We're changing a whole lot. The website, we have a Patreon now. The LE Club's still there, but it's in the Patreon. So you can join our Patreon. You can help support us. So we don't have to keep looking for advertisers and sponsors to help keep this show afloat. So we'll talk about all of that, but first let me bring in my co-host of the show, one of the hosts of Simply Stogies. He is the brainchild. Was his clear the air. This was his idea. It's his show, and so you can send all of your complaints and comments to him. It's Timothy Allen. Tim, welcome to the program.
James, how are you doing? I don't think you can use my name and brain in the same sentence.
That is very accurate. That is very accurate. 100%. This is also the show where our LE Club members have a chance to be a part of the show and be on and have their voice heard. And we're very grateful to our LE Club members for all of their support throughout the years. And we've got one with us tonight, Brian Bolin from Smoldering Cigar. Brian, welcome to the program.
Well, thank you for having me on. I am honored that I get to be on your last episode. I think I've only been on like 5 of them. And I look forward to the new chapter in Simply Stogies' book. But I'm sad that this is leaving. So it's kind of like a mixed feeling thing for me.
Yeah, why are you in such a good mood, Brian?
Why is he in such a good mood? I don't know. We're canceling him essentially. And Brian's all about it. He's like, yes, please keep canceling me.
Guess what, honey? My Fridays are free.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah, no, for sure, for sure. But we've got a lot to talk about, guys and gals out there. Look, if you want to comment on the show, we would really appreciate it. You can comment on Facebook and or YouTube. It'll show up live here on StreamYard right there at the bottom of the screen. So get those comments rolling. And with that, look, I need to remind you guys that this episode, the final episode of Simply Stogies After Dark, is brought to you by smallbatchcigar.com. Smallbatchcigar.com. Aficionados know, enthusiasts know, and now you know. Smallbatchcigar.com. Use coupon code Stogies, and guys, you're going to get an extra 15. That's right. You heard me right. I did not mispronounce it. I did not misspeak it. It is 15% from now until the end of the year. When you go to smallbatchcigar.com and you use coupon code Stogies, go get what you really want for the holidays. Your family's going to screw this up. Your kids are going to screw this up. Your wives are going to screw this up. Like, just go treat yourself. You're going to get 15% off. You're going to get a bonus 5% rewards points, and you're going to have access to all of the best boutique cigars, the small batch cigars out there, plus some of the mainstream. Whatever it is your little heart desires, Small Batch will deliver, and they'll deliver
carry
fast.
That too, huh?
Yeah, they will. Jesus, Brian, they will deliver it fast, super fast. How fast? I can't tell you how fast. All I can tell you is they have some kind of deal with USPS that is crazy. You order from them, and as long as you order before like 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock, like they get it there. Like they ship it same day. It's insane, absolutely insane. Use coupon code Stogies, guys. Go use it now. Now's the time to use it. 15% off. Get yourself something nice. Use all those reward points you've been banking all year long. And I got to thank Dave West for that 15%. We had him on. He'll be on the very next episode on November 15th. We talked with him earlier this week, and it was a great conversation. I can't wait for you guys to see it. And he was kind enough at the end of the episode. He's like, you know what? I'm going to put it in tonight. 15% off when you use coupon code Stogies. Go use the code. 15% off. Coupon code Stogies. Smallbatchcigar.com. Aficionados know, enthusiasts know, and now you know. Smallbatchcigar.com. This episode of Simply Stogies After Dark is also brought to you by Lure Cigars. Smoke great cigars and tell tall tales. Lure Cigars. And the new, is it new? I don't, Brownie Trout.
Yeah,
It
newer
is.
version of it.
It's the new. It's in the core line now. Like this was a catch and release last year, and Lou listened to you guys. You guys loved the Brownie Trout so much. He brought it back to the core line full time. You're not going to want to miss this. He even brought it back in a new Vitola, the Little Trout. I'm just telling you, that Little Trout is amazing. Like if you like corner piece fudge brownie, you like chocolate. You like, oh man, this is one of the best Maduros I think I've ever put in my mouth. And I'm not a Maduro guy, but I could smoke this every day, all day. Go get this right now. You know where you can get it? Smallbatchcigar.com. Go ask your local tobacconist about it. If they're not carrying Lure cigars, ask them why not. Like, do they not like having like the new stuff? Do they not like carrying great cigars? Do they not like supporting boutique brands? What is it? Why don't they carry it? You should question them about that. You should say, hey, you should carry Lure. But if they choose not to, you still get it at smallbatchcigar.com. Go try the Brownie Trout today. Smoke great cigars, tell tall tales, Lure Cigars. I think that's gonna do it for this final episode of After Dark. I am smoking the Specialist from Castagli Cigars. I picked this up at one of my favorite local shops in Chicago, the Chicagoland area, I guess I should say, the Humidor Lyle, a few years ago. When I in fact, if you go look, it's the last episode that I had Jeremy Castagli on, and yeah, this is a great cigar, so I figured I would smoke this. But before I could smoke this, before I find out what Tim's smoking and what Brian's smoking, I got to remind you guys, you can't clip my wings, but you can clip my cigar. Brought to you by Blackbird Cigar Company. Blackbird Cigar Company, home of the superb, the brand new Lancero. We've talked about it over and over and over. They've got more. They've got the superb, like the regular superb. They've got superb box press as doorbells are going off. They've got the cuckoo. They got the rook. They got the unkind. They've got the crow. They've got a whole litany of different things. The Blackbird brand is just absolutely great. If you haven't tried it, what are you waiting for? Again, Small Batch Cigar carries it. Go use coupon code Stogies, get 15% off, and try yourself some Blackbird today. Jonas Santana and Miyagi Montez and everyone at Blackbird just is doing a great job. They're killing it. The Meadowlark, oh man, one of my favorite cigars this year is the Meadowlark. If you haven't tried that, it's Jonas's love letter to the state of Kansas, and it uses the state bird. Just so many, and the Cactus Wren, man, which is an exclusive to certain shops. Again, you can go get that, smallbatchcigar.com. Use coupon code Stogies. Blackbird Cigars, can't clip my wings. Can't clip my cigar. Brought to you by Blackbird Cigar. Tim, I'm gonna throw it to you. What are you smoking tonight while I light this Specialist, and then you can throw it to our friend Brian.
Fantastic. Yeah. So I was just listening to you and got my cigar clipped. Haven't gotten it lit yet. I'm going to start tonight with the McAuliffe Black, one of my favorite. I mean, they're all freaking good. So this is the first one, McAuliffe, that I grabbed in my humidor. That's what I'm smoking. I'm going to get it lit. And while I do, Brian, let's find out what you're smoking.
Well, I am smoking the Nick from Nicholas.
Ooh, there you go.
That is like the first cigar I smoked when I started doing this episode with you guys on Friday night. So I thought it would be fitting to end with the same one I started with. So yeah, there you go. A little sentiment going into it. Yeah,
you're the only one putting real thought into this.
I know.
I put some
No. Don't ruin my moment. You just
I'm not.
Don't ruin the moment. We're good. I got it.
Our biggest fan.
No. There you go. So we got a Castagli. We've got a what did you say you were smoking, Tim? I already forgot.
The McAuliffe Black.
The McAuliffe Black. Yeah. I just don't really listen to a whole lot that comes out of your mouth. And we got an LH cigars.
I firmly believe that.
Huh?
I said I firmly believe that.
We're gonna move on. I don't hear anything.
Okay.
Yeah. Look, so I want to address the elephant in the room, so to speak, of why are we ending the After Dark? Well, we're ending the After Dark for a couple of reasons, but probably the big reason that we're ending this show, and this is doing the live every Friday night, is beginning in December, every Tuesday night now at 7 p.m. Central Time, we're going live. Every show is recorded live for our patrons. If you want to watch the behind the scenes, the us getting ready, the us talking to the guests beforehand, the us talking to the guests afterwards, all of those things, if you want to be a part of that, if you want to be able to ask questions during the episode and have those questions asked, our producer will sift through them on Patreon and send them to us live while we're recording with our guests. You could do that. You just have to join our Patreon for as little as $3 a month. And we'll go over all of the Patreon levels here in just a minute. But that's how you're going to do it. So that was the big reason why. We're going from an every, the 1st and the 8th and the 15th and the 22nd release to now an every Friday release for everybody. So our patrons will be able to watch the episode live as it's recorded every Tuesday. And then they'll be able to watch it if they can't make it to the live. They'll be able to watch it on Patreon Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday it goes out to everybody else. So we're not going anywhere. The podcast isn't going anywhere. Clear the Air is not going anywhere. We're just changing the cadence on how we release. We're now a weekly show. And so if you want to be a part of that, again, join the Patreon. So that's the big reason why it's going away. The second reason that I kind of came to the decision, and I'll be honest, I did run it past him and I was like, hey, I think I want to, do that. But it was ultimately, this is on me. So if people want to be upset because we're ending the live show every Friday, you can send an email complaints to me, James at simplystogies.com. But the reason that we're doing it, another reason is that it's just hard to find guests on Friday night. And this was really honestly the only night that I have that I could do a live, and it kind of worked for Tim. And at the time it worked for a lot of our LE club members where they were able to come on Friday nights. But it's not the most ideal time to do a live show. It's just not. And I would rather have my weekends freed up to spend with my family, or if I'm being honest, to just smoke a cigar in peace.
The truth comes out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I yeah, for sure. Like I love my family, yeah, and I'll spend time with them during the day for a few minutes, and then it's like, man, you all give me a headache. I'm gonna come down here and smoke a cigar. I'm joking a little bit. Oh yeah. Those are the two big reasons why it's hard to find guests for a Friday night, and when you do a live show, it's not conducive, honestly, to the way that we do things here at Simply Stogies. It's an organic conversation. Yes, it's not scripted, and I've never been a fan of non-scripted shows that just kind of meander and are all over the place, and there's inside jokes, and there's I don't want you guys to have to like deal with that with us. I just don't. Everything we do, we try to do at a high level. We try to add production value to everything so that when you have to look at this ugly mug, at least you're entertained while you're doing so. And so, we don't put this out to our podcast listeners, our audio only listeners. This only goes up on YouTube and Rumble, and it stays there. Facebook, it only stays there for 30 days. And when we started, it stayed there forever. Now it's only 30 days. So, there's, you guys really want us to keep doing this live show? Nah, no, I don't think you do. So yeah, this is it. This is the last one. This is the last shindig, the last dance.
The icing on the cake.
The icing on the cake. The hot fudge on the sundae. I don't know. I got nothing else.
Yeah, not getting better.
No, it's getting objectively worse. Objectively worse. Tim, like, how
Yeah.
does this?
Onion dip on the carrot.
Yeah, Tim, how does this make you feel that this is the last live, thing we're going to do on Friday nights every month?
Yeah. Okay. So like there is a very, very, very pretend I added many more varies into that small piece of me that does kind of miss this because it is kind of the opportunity to be able to herf and talk cigar with our LE club members and people who post comments on mostly Facebook or YouTube. But at the same time, when you're trying to figure out how to release, reviews or podcasts, and when in that case where like, oh great, the first Friday of the month is a review release and it's the 2 hour live show, and then I have drill weekend, so it's like after this is done I'm ready to go to bed because I got to get up and work in the morning. And it just kind of, for those reasons I'm like, yeah, okay, great, I'm glad that it's kind of over. And I don't really think, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think this is necessarily the true last. I think this is probably the last scheduled. I feel like down the road we'll probably have a conversation or something will happen in the industry or something, and we'll just throw up a live that'll go for a cigar or two.
No, you're wrong. We will not be doing that ever.
No? Okay.
No.
Perfect. You heard it from James first.
So here's the thing. So, for example, the cigar media crisis, and everyone was losing their fucking minds, last week. We didn't put a live out, right? What we did is we put a special episode out. And I honestly think that's, for us, is the best way to connect with our audience, not through a live, but through that. Now, I'm not saying we won't do Instagram lives, and I'm not saying there won't be lives during the PCA trade show, although that's probably changing as well, just a heads up. But I just don't see doing lives as being, that's not how we connect with our audience. Our audience is,
that makes sense.
Yeah, they're podcast listeners, and we definitely want to.
We have a few LE club members who are YouTube watchers.
Yeah, no, absolutely, 100%. And our YouTube is growing, and we're getting more views all of the time, and I really appreciate that for everybody who tunes in on YouTube, and Rumble. It's the same thing, but we really want to foster community, and so we really want you guys to join our Discord. And tell us what you're smoking every day, and start conversations with us, and tell us when we're wrong, and tell us how stupid I look and how stupid I sound, and try to give Tim hard words to pronounce, things like that. Like, we want to foster that. We want you guys to get to know us a little bit better as well. And honestly, maybe that's what this show should have been, is just a way for us to really connect with people, or try to connect with people. And instead, I've always said that we're not the stars of what we do, Tim.
Right.
The stars of what we do are the guests that we have on, and I still feel that way. I don't ever want to be the center of attention. Do I have opinions? Yeah. Do my opinions matter? Probably not. I mean, I'm just being honest. They probably don't. So I would rather the star of the show, be whoever we have on that week. And then the next week we can talk about that. We can talk about them. We can talk about what they're doing in the industry without making them feel awkward, right? By talking in front of them. And that's why I really like Clear the Air. But I do think there is an element of that's missing, that our audience doesn't know who we are. And so there's this awkwardness, like, how do they interact with us? So we're going to try to change that as well. But I just don't think that this is the platform to do it. But yeah, you'll see lives every now and again, but probably not a Two Cigar show. It might just be a quick jump on, like, hey, here we are at the trade show. Here's what we're doing. Here's like whatever, things like that. But yeah, probably not a full blown thing.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
I'm 100% for it.
Okay, it sounded like you were sad.
No, I was trying to milk toast this thing, or
that is not how you use that word, but okay.
No, Well,
I'm glad you said that. I was sitting here going, "Oh, okay."
just trying to be a milktoast.
James,
Whatever.
James, you touched me. So just so you know,
Don't say that either, Brian. That's not. That doesn't.
I thought we were using those kinds of words now.
This just keeps getting worse and worse. Worse and worse.
Oh, good word, Tim.
No, I'm not upset. I'm really not. Like, it frees up my time. Like, even when I was doing another podcast, and when I had to quit doing that one, it kind of sucked for about a week, and then I got over it and realized how much more time I have for basically simply Stogie shit now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
No. Right. Well,
you guys are growing leaps and bounds.
And we are.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. This show is not. That was another reason why. In fact, it was shrinking. So, and obviously based on the amount of comments
to do with me.
Based on the amount of comments we have so far, 23 minutes into this episode might be a good indication of it's just time to end this show.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's do this. I want you guys to know where you can see us live every week starting December 2nd. Patreon. Simply Stogies Patreon. And I kind of want to go over what each tier has, starting with the $3 tier. Tim, do we have that?
I'm bringing it up right now.
Yeah, there we go. So there it is. And I'm going to read it right off of my screen.
Let's see if I can make that full screen.
Can you go ahead and?
Yeah, that didn't really make that big of a difference.
All right. So we've got our ashtray tier, which is our very first tier, $3 a month, early access to the podcast episodes. You'll get a thank you shout out on the website, and then access to Patreon only posts and updates. So it's a very basic tier, but it will allow you to see the behind the scenes things. It'll allow you to comment on that. It'll allow you to watch the show early. And for $3 a month, I mean, I don't know what else you want. And then we've got our cedar sleeve tier. That's our $10 tier. Everything in the ashtray tier. You'll also get access to our Discord Elite Club channels and exclusive monthly After the Smoke virtual herf with James and Tim. So we are doing a live thing. It's just a virtual herf once a month for our Elite Club members on Discord. And honestly, we do that almost every night. So, and
we did it last night.
We did. We did do it last night, and everybody can join and have a conversation with us. It'll be fun. Then there's the Humidor tier, our $20 tier. So you're going to get everything that we just talked about. Plus you're going to get priority topic suggestions for upcoming episodes. You have a episode topic you want us to cover. Hey, let us know and we'll cover it. We'll put it in the rotation. Like, I've got no problem doing that for our Elite Club members. Then there's the connoisseur tier. That's $30 a month. That would be what Brian Bolin is. You get everything in the first two tiers. Plus you get a thank you gift during our event. So now from going forward, unless you pay $30 a month, you won't be getting the 10 packs that we give away at our events. And then you'll also get early access to any special projects and collaborations that we do. And then here's the big one, the $100 a month tier. I fully expect nobody will ever do this. Thank Christ. Because you'll get everything that we just talked about. Plus, your name will be listed as an executive producer on the podcast, which means you will technically outrank Tim. I mean,
it's not a meet and greet with you.
No, it's a who the fuck wants that? It is.
Take you out to Burger King.
I mean, that's worth the price of admission there to outrank Tim. I mean, executive producer on the podcast credits. Plus, you get a personalized cigar recommendation session with me. So I guess there is a kind of a meet and greet. Like, nobody wants that either. Like, I'd just be like, yeah, you should smoke better shit. Stop smoking shit sticks. And then you're going to get a lifetime 15% discount on all of our Simply Stogies merch. And yes, we do have merch. We will have merch. That's coming. That's coming very soon. So stay tuned for that. Tim, is there anything you want to add to any of these lists?
I think we're still kind of oh geez, what's going on there? All right. Yeah, I think we're still kind of seeing what all we can offer to the different tiers. But no, I like it. I mean, here's the thing, right? I can't believe you did a 3-month tier for this. But for $3 a month, you get to watch in Patreon the live stream of the show. So if we start the cameras rolling 30 minutes before the episode starts.
Mm-hmm.
You get to see all that.
Mm-hmm.
If we have somebody who has an internet connection loss and we're sitting there looking dumb for 15 minutes until that person comes back on, you get to see that when we're done with the episode. If we stick around for an extra 30 minutes, you get to see that, and you get to comment in Patreon. And as one of the producers, Mike is our other producer. He's going to take those comments. I'm going to take those comments. I'm going to copy and paste them over into StreamYard, where James, Jimmy, and Nick will be able to see those comments. And if they can fit it in, if they can ask the questions, they're going to do that. I think that's cool as shit.
Yeah. For the price.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, that's why I can't believe you're doing it.
Well, here's the thing. I fully expect nobody's going to join. I fully expect that.
You thought that at my store too, but we did. We got you 8 people.
No, you did. You definitely did. And I was.
Event.
It was a great event, and I'm very thankful for everybody who joined. As I try to add an asset here, but yeah. And I don't know how it's going to look, but we'll see here in just a second.
We'll give it a shot.
Yeah, no, I'm doing my best here. I'm trying to multitask because doing things is hard.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I mean it is. It sucks, but I mean, look, our first guest December 2nd is Matt Booth. So you're not going to want to miss that. Matt Booth, Room 101. We're going to have him live for our patrons. We're recording it live. This is just not something you're going to want to miss. Matt Booth is one of the big names in the industry that's been around for a while. He was known as one of the unusual suspects when he first came in, and it's going to be a lot of fun, I think. And it's really going to put my interviewing skills to the test. So if you want to see how that goes and want to watch it live,
it'll be fun, and it's probably going to be hard to produce. I don't know why. I think there's going to be a lot of back and forth. It's just going to be chaotic, but it'll be fun.
Maybe.
Didn't you watch that episode with him and when you guys did the PCA? That was a good back and forth right there. He was crazy in that thing.
Yeah, here's the thing. I want people to get to know Matt Booth in a way that maybe they don't, and so it's going to be up to me to bring that out in him as our one of our lifetime members of the LE Club. Lou Cross joins us. Lou, welcome to the program.
Hey, Lou.
Hey guys, how are you?
Good. Welcome to the final episode of Simply Stogies After Dark.
Glad to be here.
Crisis in Cigar Media. Another one bites the dust. The Simply Stogies no longer doing their live show. Nobody gives a shit.
Yeah.
Nobody cares.
That's not true.
You're
going to do a live show. You're just not. You're going to do it for the Patreon members. That's
all. We went over that just now with everybody. Everybody now knows. So go join the Patreon, and come watch us live every Tuesday. It should be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. And then build a community with us. You only get out of community what you put into the community, and so come be a part of it. Come join our Discord. You can join the Discord. The link is in the website on the website, which the website's getting revamped. There's all kinds of stuff going on. Good stuff. So yeah, join us. Look, we got a half hour left in this first hour, and I want to talk about something that is kind of funny, and also kind of, I don't know. To me, it's interesting. And I got this last night from our good friend Nicholas Siros. He sent this article to me. Tim, can you pull the article up for folks? This comes from CubanHeadlines.com. I'm just going to be honest with you guys.
I love the picture.
I've never heard of this. But North Korea's former ambassador unveils cigar smuggling network in Cuba. If you guys didn't think that Cuba could get more fucked up than it already is, you were wrong. I am gonna fuck up this guy's name, so I'm just Lee Il-Q. Once the North Korean ambassador to Cuba has disclosed an intricate network of smuggling espionage and political influence orchestrated by Kim Jong-un's regime across Latin America. In an interview with EFE, Lee revealed that North Korean embassies across the region, especially the one in Havana, has long served as hubs for illicit activities and covert intelligence operations. These embassies have also acted as platforms for propaganda and collaboration with allied governments. He outlined that the North Korean embassy in Havana functioned as a base for smuggling Cuban cigars, a highly lucrative venture for North Korean officials. He said, quote, they pack the cigars in diplomatic pouches which aren't inspected, buy them in Cuba at $50 a box, and sell them abroad for $1,000. He kept going and said all diplomats are involved in these businesses driven by the insufficient official salaries provided by Pyongyang. So basically what you've got two communist countries here that can't figure out capitalism, and they're smuggling Cuban cigars out of the North Korean embassy, turning around, selling them for $1,000. If I could do simple math, I could tell you guys what the simple math on this is, but it's a lot. It's a lot. What is it? Is that that's a
400% markup?
Is it a 400% markup?
$950 difference. If you buy a box for 50, sell it for $1,000, it's $950.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a lot more. It's a lot more than 400%.
Well, yeah, 200% would be $400, right? So 400% would be $800, and you're starting to get, so it's almost it's a 450% if my math's right. Probably not.
Take 950 divided by 50.
Yeah, I can't do that. I can't even spell divide.
Yeah, no, that doesn't make sense. That 50 divided by 915, right?
50 divided by 950.
Yes,
yeah.
I said it backwards.
Yeah.
Strike that, reverse
divided
it.
by 950.
You could have just moved the decimal point, probably, but fine.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not right.
Hold on a second.
Well, all right. We'll just keep moving on. So
right, I swear
we
it's
all
like
know
that's
that
not.
we smoke cigars and do
Jesus.
not teach math class.
No,
Yeah.
this is exactly it. You are not wrong. Yeah. So I think I just think it's kind of funny. I mean, everybody who's into Cuban cigars, which I'm not anymore. Like, I'll be honest, I used to be. I used to think that they were really good, but my palate has kind of I want to say matured a little bit, and I really enjoy the full flavored cigars now, and not just the mild medium stuff.
It's hard to go back from what you call the American cigar compared to the Cuban cigar, because there's just Cuban cigars are the same. They're not strong ever, right? They're pretty much a medium all day long.
Medium or mild, but very, very floral, nuanced notes. They're not very, I wouldn't really, some of them are very complex, but most are not. I think they're all cut with Costa Rican and Dominican tobacco now. Unless you're getting a Cohiba or a Trinidad, I don't think you're getting a Cuban Puro anymore, or unless it's a regional or a limited edition. You're just not, it's just not the case. And I can point to 2018 being probably the last year that was the case, because any box that you got that a 2018 code, you couldn't smoke right away, because you would have to let them sit for a couple of years, because there was just so much, they were still off gassing. There was just a lot of ammonia in those. And then 2019 rolls around and you start getting the boxes with 2019 on the box code, and you can smoke those right away. What? So you couldn't let the ones for the last, however many years ferment, but this year's you could let ferment? Like, the math didn't add up. So
speaking of math, 1900%. You were correct. The math was 19. You got to add 2 zeros. It's 1900% markup. The math was the math.
Yeah, thank you, Lou.
Crazy.
That's insane. That's insane. So, I mean, I guess it pays to be a North Korean ambassador.
Sure, it pays to be any ambassador. If you're able to take shit in a diplomatic pouch, I don't care if you're the ambassador to Bahamas. It doesn't make a difference. Jeez, yeah.
I mean, if you're the ambassador to the Bahamas, you're probably coming back with a lot of boxes, glass top boxes of Cuban.
Could be. Could be
the real ones.
The real ones.
Hey man, I'm going to tell
one.
you this: if this tariff goes into effect, it may be that you're going to be smuggling Nicaraguan cigars out of Nicaragua. So
well, might pay to be the Nicaraguan ambassador.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, but that's a good point, Lou. I mean, let's shift gears because I don't know how much more I could bag on Cuba. I mean, I probably could, but I won't.
Well, think of that 1900. Just to end on that though, but think of that. Not every box you get's going to have a good cigar in it. So you mark that all up, and you can only smoke what did they say? 40% of that box is probably actually really good.
That's my math. I think Nick says it's closer to 10 or 15%. But I just know that back in the days when I was buying Cuban cigars, there were some boxes where, if it's a box of 20, 8 of them are plugged to the point where you just couldn't smoke it. Like you're stabbing it with a perfect draw and it still will not open up. And you're just like, fuck it, I'm done. I'll smoke something else. Yeah. It's just it's not worth it. They're not great. But yeah, so let's shift gears and let's talk about this possible 100% Nicaraguan tariff.
Yeah.
Lou, you think it's gonna happen? I mean, you're in the industry. You're a manufacturer. You're a mover and shaker. Are you afraid of this?
Yeah. No. I mean, we are making absolute contingency plans to the point of seeking manufacturing sources in other countries because of the threat to and it's not just the tariff. There are further threats of actually disavowing all Nicaraguan trade goods to come into the United States. It's not just a tariff, because my understanding, and don't quote me on this, I'm no diplomat and I'm not, versed in world trade, but I do
You're
import
not smuggling cigars?
Yeah. Things would be a whole lot different if he was.
Yeah, but I will say
cool
that I will say that my understanding is that the tariff is one thing, which is a financial burden and can be adjusted and you can absorb that. But there's threats to the whole thing about the trade because of the justification for that type of action is because we want to influence the human rights and all these other things that they're quoting as the reasons why they're enacting these things in the first place.
Yeah.
And if they disavow all Nicaraguan goods, then we are crippled as a industry for those of us that do business in Nicaragua to bring our product in anyway. And so, you have to have a contingency. And I think that to be naive and to say, oh, it can't happen, that will never happen, it's hyperbolic, that has not been the trend with other things that the administration has decided to go forward with and make happen. And they have more control, I don't know, in the result of this week's past elections and things as far as what happens, but give them a reason to do something January 1st of 2026 while they still have all the power and control and can enforce things through. It's very, very possible that it happens. And so it is very scary. And so we are working very hard with our factory partners and our importers and our, planning for our capital outlay has been a major intensive discussion over the last couple of weeks to bring in as many cigars as we possibly can so that we can keep the prices where they are for a period of time to make up for the shock and awe of what's going to happen. Because if it happens to where this 100% tariff goes into effect, I have absorbed the 18%, which is 8% over the 10% that was 10% more than zero when I first started. I have absorbed that and I have not raised my prices while other companies have made adjustments because of whatever. I have said I'm going to try to keep my prices as a company that is growing. It's hard for me to go into a shop and then 2 weeks later raise the prices on somebody.
Yeah.
So I've absorbed that. Well, there's no way that I, as a small business, and even as a large manufacturer, can absorb 100% increase in prices for manufacturing and not have to adjust pricing. So it's terrifying because larger companies that have that are well capitalized and are well established and have great networks with retailers, they can maybe absorb 100% and they can raise the prices. And if it affects everybody from Nicaragua, then or bringing in Nicaraguan cigars, then fine. At least the playing field is affecting everybody. But for the small business, it's terrifying because let's assume I have to raise my prices to be able to absorb that manufacturing tariff. It's not the cost of the final landed cigar. You do your homework. It's on the manufactured cost. But when you do that, let's assume it adds a couple dollars to the cigar, and everybody's willing to say, I really like your cigar. I pay $13 for your Toro right now, and then I'm willing to pay $16. Well, what happens when that cigar goes from $13 to $20? All of a sudden, it ceases to be as attractive and interesting a product over other cigars that cost already $19 to $25 in that uber premium type of place.
Yeah.
So I don't
You're
know.
moving into a different weight class then.
Absolutely, and I'm not intending to even fight at that weight class. It's like being forced to go fight at a level that you're not wanting to fight at. And it's not because I don't think my cigars can compete from a quality of cigar standpoint. I would take the bands off and smoke my stuff against anybody else's that's fighting in that weight class. I just choose not to fight in that weight class, and I want to make it more affordable for people. So it's making it harder for me to have the approach to keeping my brand fun and accessible. And by that rationale, we are seeking possible manufacturing solutions in other factories in other countries to be able to afford it.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I think that it is. And I appreciate Dr. Gabby Caffey watching tonight. I hope you're having a good night, Dr. Caffey. But you said it was terrifying, and he agrees that it's terrifying. And there's a couple of things at play here. You said that the government's doing it or proposing it because of human rights violations in Nicaragua.
So that's their story.
So right, and they did not. I want to be clear on this. It's not just cigars; it's everything coming out of Nicaragua. Anything manufactured in Nicaragua that is coming to the U.S. would have the tariff. It's not.
There's two. That's true, but there's only two major exports out of Nicaragua: coffee and tobacco.
Both
so
good.
And what is it? What is it? Is it 60% of our cigars come out of Nicaragua, or 60% of Nicaragua tobacco is used in the cigars we smoke?
I don't know the details. I don't know. I mean,
it's high though, right?
It's high. It's definitely high.
And there's big players over there, and so, like you were saying, though, if you had to raise your percent, they're going to have to. So maybe to change the weight class altogether, but it'll stress the buyer out.
Sure.
Yeah, no, for sure. Gasticles was hoping to jump on. I just got home, won't be making it. I hope you guys are having a good night, except for me, of course. Except for me, I am. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate you at least jumping on and watching for a little bit. Look, I want to kind of pick on and not really pick on, but Steve Saka back on October 20th when this was first announced that this might be a thing. He put out a Facebook post, and Steve Saka, when he talks, people listen. And he said in his Facebook post, FYI, the United States Trade Representative recommended 100% tariff on all Nicaraguan imports today. Developing, I am exhausted. And then he added this comment. For those reading the report, as someone who's worked in NICA with thousands of individuals since 1993, I can say without any reservation, the report is entirely false in regards to the handmade cigar industry, which again, they weren't picking on one industry. Nicaragua actually has arguably the strictest and enforced child labor laws in all of Central America. Parental permission requirements, government approval required with a certificate to work, limited hours, guaranteed wages, and wellness checks by official inspectors. This is particularly true in the cigar industry and all Zona Franca businesses. In my opinion, this proposal is more about the political divide between the U.S. and Nicaraguan governments using the excuse of human rights violations. If this was to go into effect, it would truly decimate the Nicaraguan workers and their families. I can do something else, just retire if I so choose, but this would crush their economy and would truly be devastating to the hardworking people of Nicaragua and their children. I don't necessarily disagree with everything that he said. I think that it is looking at things through rose-colored glasses a little bit. I think there are issues with the Nicaraguan government. And as Gabby said, it's a volatile situation in Nicaragua, and it has been for several years. Is this just politically motivated? I don't know. I think that the Cuban embargo that's still in effect is 100% politically motivated.
Sure.
So, I mean, what's good for the goose is good for the gander, right? If we're going to say that this proposed 100% tariff is politically motivated, then we should be honest and say so is the Cuban embargo. And if we want to not have just politically motivated things happen, then we should do away with the Cuban embargo and not enact this 100% tariff on Nicaraguan goods. I mean, all things being fair, right? Am I wrong?
No,
Well,
I think they should have ended that Cuban embargo a long time ago. I mean, you're just allowing another communist country to come in and fill the shoes of what the Soviets lacked in.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know what goes on in Nicaragua. I have not been there. I am ignorant to the inner workings of it. And so I rely on guys like Steve Saka. If he says that it's strict, I have no reason to disbelieve that. But if the U.S. government says, well, there's some human rights violations going on.
But why are we not having the same posture when it comes to China and all these other countries that have got definite and clear human rights violations? I mean, why not? Why picking on Nicaragua does not seem to make sense to me. And
very good question.
there are larger tokens in the game of three-dimensional chess that they're playing on a diplomatic level that go beyond simple, politics, that there's got to be either a strategic, economic, or some other major financial investment issue that Nicaragua either is sitting on a pile of fucking rare earth metals, or they're sitting on a strategic place where they got to have, global positioning for some type of asset. It goes beyond, I just don't believe enough about having this much pressure put on any country. I mean, you could look at any number of third world countries that have, it just doesn't make
100%.
sense.
Human trafficking, child labor, there's
drugs, whatever.
Drugs,
I mean,
and look, we're blowing up boats that are coming out of Venezuela. I mean, we're not, and I think Venezuela, just from a political standpoint, is more of a threat financially, like, than Nicaragua is.
Sure.
So
and they have oil,
and they have oil. That might be part of it. And then when you talk about, well, why aren't we holding China accountable? China is they're the second largest. I mean, they're a superpower.
Sure.
So that would be why.
Easy to pick. It's easy to pick on a weak country that already is trying to. And the other thing is that I would be very, very curious, and I don't know this, but I would be curious to get an answer from someone who is choosing to either to live there or do business there and is actually in the country and not just buying their goods. I don't know what the current state of standard of living and global happiness measurement, whatever the term is for somebody to say, are you satisfied as a person? I mean, I don't know if the people are aware of their situation or not. I mean, it's the thing is that they pay their workers what the market dictates. And, I would, everybody says, well, in a perfect utopia, everybody would make the same and everybody make $1 million or whatever it is. And it's like, it's just not the way economic systems work.
No.
So, we have seen an increase in prices. There were some things that happened with Dominican cigars. To get cigars made in Dominican Republic is more expensive than to get them made in Nicaragua. Period.
Same in Costa Rica.
Sure, the labor is more expensive. The access and the transportation costs and all the network of infrastructure to support the type of industry that to roll cigars and warehouse tobacco and grow tobacco. That's just the nature of what it is. I mean, and so I don't think that you can snap your fingers and just make things better overnight by simply charging people more money to do business in those countries. I don't understand how this is supposed to make things better.
I don't either. I think it is a way to put political pressure on a country, not to make things better.
I get it, but they're not being clear. What's the end goal? I mean, we will never know. Maybe we'll never know. But at the end of the day, we all go out of business because they're not getting their way, and whatever it is.
So that I guess that's really what this all kind of boils down to, right? Is who goes out of business and who doesn't. So Gabby says I left Honduras and went to the DR and my cost went up 30% at a minimum.
Sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah. If you talk to Nick Sears, who has a factory in Costa Rica, he says that people are leaving Nicaragua to go to Costa Rica because the wages are higher. So they have rollers leaving Nicaragua to go to Costa Rica to work at factories, cigar factories in Costa Rica because they know they're going to get paid more. the situation in Nicaragua is obviously not great. I think all of us can agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that politically, they are, on the other side of the spectrum from what we are.
But it's not. But using those words of saying it's not great relative to what we understand and what we know in our way of life. And
Mhm.
if if you go over, you study anthropology and you go into the some tribe that's never had Western contact, and you go in there and you go, these people are living like primitive people
Sounds a
that don't
lot.
know any
Yeah,
better.
it sounds a lot like colonialism.
Well, exactly. And all of a sudden you say, wait a minute, these people were not dissatisfied with their life whatsoever. They may not be having life at the level you want it to be, or you think is great. Are they truly suffering in a situation where we're going out there to solve problems at the level, or is it just bullshit?
I can't answer that because I don't
No, I don't
know.
know.
And that's the thing. I don't think anybody does except for those that get the daily briefings, right? And those who
Right.
put the briefings together. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, that's it. And we have to put our faith in the people that we elect, whether we like them or not. We elected them, and kind of
Yeah.
hope that they're doing what's best, not just for us, but for everyone involved. And
Yeah.
at the end of the day, when you look at what Cuba's going through and what's happening there, it is a humanitarian emergency, and it's just getting worse since COVID.
Sure.
When you hear when Nick Sears goes for the Festival de Habano, and he comes back and he's like, man, it's just bad. It's worse than it was last time. If we enact something like this 100% tariff, that could be the case. And while cigar consumers here in America and abroad are concerned with that, well, probably not abroad, but here in America are concerned with that because we consume the most cigars of anybody on the planet. That's what we're concerned with. Well, oh, we're gonna, oh no, somebody might go out of business. Oh no, I might not. What Stogies says he might retire. Like, what happens to Dunbarton? I can't get Dunbarton cigars anymore. Like, oh, what, I gotta find
Yeah.
something else. Like, what are we doing? But the real travesty, and I love that Saka pointed this out, is what happens there in Nicaragua, and it becomes even more of a humanitarian emergency. So
Yeah.
we're saying something's bad there, and human rights violations are going on. So we're going to do this and objectively make it worse.
Well, it's like I taking something away from an equation is a tactic, I guess, to achieve a goal. But putting something in, why not make investments in these countries? And if you're going to sit there and try to make things better, you're
Well,
sitting there putting more pressure for them to bend. I mean, unless somebody's profiting at a level that where there's disparity in terms of the revenues that are coming in, and they're
when
not sharing that with the people. I don't know how that
yeah,
works.
my counterpoint to that would be like, can we just figure out shit here first before we start giving everybody else
Hey,
money?
100%.
Like,
I'm all for, there's places in this country that that could benefit from investments, 100%
absolutely,
without any
absolutely.
doubt whatsoever. Unless, I get the fact that you have to make investments from a global security standpoint to put yourself in a strategic position to have, buffers and all kinds of things, and have natural resources to support, what you want to do. But at the end of the day, we got some internal problems that need to be figured out and fixed. Absolutely.
Yeah,
So,
like maybe let's start
you
with
know,
healthcare,
yeah,
education,
sure. Yeah, right. I mean, we're worried
homelessness.
about some, and I have compassion for the people that work the craft and make the cigars that I end up buying and selling. I mean, I don't want to see anybody suffer, but at the same time, if you're going to sit there and
Yeah.
really try to make a difference, you know,
No, I don't disagree, and I think to look at the subject as a whole, we have to look at the impact that it will have on premium hand rolled cigars here in the U.S.
well,
And so 100% tariff, if it works like the other ones, if it costs the manufacturer in Nicaragua, let's
yep,
just say $2.50 to make a cigar,
yeah,
which means that they sell it to the retailer for
hmm
$5. The
hmm
retailer sells it to you for $10.
yeah, that's
That's
keystoning. Yeah,
that's how that works typically. I'm painting with a broad brush. It doesn't work with every
yep,
cigar. It doesn't work with every brand, but this is how it
sure.
works typically.
3 6 12. Yep.
Yeah. So now that $2.50 cigar that they would retail or they would wholesale or keystone to the retailer for $5, that's now a $5 cigar, which means they're keystoning it at $10 to the retailer. And the retailer will turn around and keystone it at $20 for you.
Correct.
Your $10 cigar doubled in price. That's how this works. And I have heard manufacturers say, it won't affect us. It's only a couple dollars. Yeah, it's only a couple of dollars for you because it goes from a $2 cigar to a $4 cigar. That means that $2 cigar was a $4 cigar, was an $8 cigar. Now it's a $16 cigar for us. So while they look at it as it's only a couple bucks, we'll be fine. No one's going to buy it.
Nope.
Nobody's going to buy it. I'm sorry.
Nope.
We've had this conversation before, and we were talking about this last night. Things are slowing down in the cigar industry. I mean, they just are. And they've been slowing down for the last couple of years. And it's just coming to a head. And I know we had Brian Desmond on from Bravada Cigar Club, and he was all, things are moving up, and we're finally seeing movement in the upward swing, and things had been slowing down. But I don't know how true that is. I'd like to trust Brian, but every indicator that I have seen and everything that I have heard anecdotally from both manufacturers that I know and from retailers that I know is that things are down. And while sales might be steady year over year, they're not up, and they're only steady because
the amount of money
factors.
that's being spent. The amount of money that's being spent is the same, but the volume of cigars is going down because the cigar costs more money. So at the end of the day, the retailer is buying less cigars, making the same amount of money, and when I go to sell a cigar, and I have a new release that comes out, it is not being as the volumes are not being picked up the way they were with the previous release, 6 months ago, and the previous 6 months before. And it's not because the cigars are not being enjoyed. It's not because the cigars are not, people love it. I mean, hell, I like this cigar better than the last one that came out. That's great feedback. I really appreciate it. The consumers that are giving the feedback for it, but the retailers are not making the investment. And there's not as much free cash out there. They're having to be very selective in what they buy. And they don't blind, purchase. And I don't know because I don't know if other people are requiring them to have minimum purchases and things at a level where they're eating up more of their cash. But my understanding is they're making good money, just like they did last year. They're just not buying as many cigars, and they're making more money off of less.
But I think we talked about this a few months ago when Davidoff, said, "Hey, we're just not producing the amount of cigars that we were."
Yeah,
they're not losing any money. They may have cut back on what they're producing, but that doesn't mean they're losing money because they raised prices. That Davidoff Maduro, which might be, with all due respect to every other Maduro I've ever smoked, including the Brownie Trout, it might be the best Maduro I've ever had. And I remember I bought it. It was $55. I smoked it. I was like, this is really good. And I bought two more.
You gave me
one to you because I wanted you to smoke it, right?
I smoked it. It's very good.
Really good. But is it $55 good? I just don't know. Gabby says, I really want to highlight this comment. I'm sorry if I'm not, commenting. The fact is we want answers. We use a lot of Nicaraguan tobacco, even though we're in the DR, and this would impact even them. And that's true because this tariff wouldn't just work if it's shipped from Nicaragua. It's if Nicaragua ships it to anywhere else and then it gets shipped to us. So if it goes to the DR and they're using Nicaraguan tobacco, they have to put that 100% tariff on it when they ship it to the US. So that's what I have heard.
I think that's like a gray area.
I don't. Okay.
Well, but the biggest challenge right now is that we're running out of time. And the thing is, they've already established that January 1st is when this is supposed to go into effect. The government's been shut down, so nobody could. Well, whatever. But I mean, even if it goes in for a week, just for shock and awe.
I was under the impression, and correct me if I'm wrong because I don't know. And Avowed Cigars, hey, what's up, Avowed Cigars? Love you guys. You guys are awesome. I don't know, but this is what my understanding was. It's a proposal. It has a 60-day window for people to comment on it.
Yeah.
And then that proposal goes and they discuss it. And then from there, it may or may not happen.
Well, unless they're volunteering to get together at the Starbucks and have that conversation, it's not happening. And
Well,
the
yeah.
biggest problem is that, are they going to, I don't know where the clock is on this. And one of the comments I wanted to make in terms of the industry as a whole, we're sitting here speculating and we're having a conversation, and there's a lot of fear, uncertainty, and doubt with any kind of topic about having something like this go into effect. I'm looking to, the organizations that have lobbying power, and they have, where is the PCA and the other, CRA and these other places that are out there that are advocating on behalf of the industry?
Yeah,
Have you guys? Well, I'm just saying,
well, look,
it may be something. Look, we can sit here and shoot the shit about it. I don't know. And even in the few news articles and things that I have had other manufacturers share with me, and the conversations we've had about what do you know, what do you hear, it's all rumor until you get, some real data. And, I think maybe it's worth cigar media to reach out to these organizations and say, guys, let's have a conversation with our audience and put this into terms of how this is going to take effect. And it's less speculative and a little more data. And what are you doing to go there and have conversations to thwart this?
Well, I think it's twofold. So everyone's got to wait for the 60-day period, this commenting period. And Steve Sock in his very next post linked where you can go and leave a comment for them to, look at and take into consideration.
I'll pull one out of the Democrats' playbook. Just say don't.
Right. Like, so, but if you don't comment in the 60 days, you don't comment in the 60 days, and there's not that many comments for them to then take into account. So when they go and they look at this, they'll see whether or not the people are for it or against it. So I would highly encourage you to go comment on this and say, hey, we're not for this. Like,
yeah,
we don't want this. And then after that 60 days, then it goes in committee, and it goes, and then they still have to write, they have to figure out how they're going to implement it, right? Or if it's going to be implemented and at what level. And so but I listened to a conversation on How About That Cigar with Mike Stevikevich from Postania, and he was asked if he was worried about it, and he said that he was not worried about it. That's a tomorrow problem, and he's not going to worry about it until it happens. I don't know how.
Okay.
Yeah,
awesome.
I don't like. Yeah, I mean, there's something to be said about that laissez-faire kind of attitude. Like, if it happens, then I'll worry about it. But I mean, it's also like you can't control it, so why worry about it? I understand that.
Is
but
anybody
on the other hand,
stockpiling?
I think that might be a thing too, where you're going to see a lot of people do that. But to your greater point, Lou, what is the PCA and what is everybody else? So Kathy said, Gabby says the governor's shut down. The government shut down isn't helping. For sure.
It's a confluence of events that is not good for this situation.
Yeah, it's not. And I've read that the majority of the comments, there are a lot of disgruntled Nicaraguans on there commenting, which is not good. Yeah, that's probably not going to help. To your greater question, which is what is the PCA and the CRA and the CAA? What are these places doing about it? And
CAA, pick
the
BCA. Another A.
What is the the BCA saying about it?
Sure.
I think that, and I can only really speak intelligently here to the CRA and the PCA. The PCA couldn't even figure out what court to file something in California. I'm not saying that the PCA is inept. What I'm saying is like they made a misstep. They had a misstep with this whole California thing and the flavored cigar ban and all of the things that have been going on in California. They had a misstep. And both, I'll be honest, both the PCA and the CRA are not as transparent as I particularly would like them to be when it comes to these things. And when media talks to them, you get these, 30,000 foot vague answers. They're very much, they're lawyers and they're politicians. That's what they are.
Yeah,
and they're very good at giving you lawyer and politician answers. Where, hey, what do you think of this? Oh, well, that's a really great question. What we did in this other situation was this kind of thing. And they never really addressed what's really going on. And the CRA has just never really been that transparent with anything that they've done. The money that comes in and where it goes and how it's used and those kinds of things. And so from a media standpoint, and while I love having somebody from the PCA on like Josh Abersky and talking to him about things and Glenn Loop, and the states things. Even there, from a stateside thing, you talk to Glenn. He's like, well, once it's passed, and there's not really a whole lot we can do about it. I mean, he said that. I mean, you can go back and listen. He said that. So they're more reactive than they are proactive. And once something's passed, it's like throw your hands in the air and go, well, I guess that's the way it is for right now. It's like,
well, they still get their money from all the retailers.
They still get their money from all the manufacturers. They still get their money from media every year that goes to the PCA. They still get, what's it going for? If you're not going to fight, if you're not going to push back against these things on a state level, you're not going to push back on these things on a federal level once they're passed, what's the point? And I saw a very good post. I know Caffey's watching right now. And I'm saying this not just because he's watching, but I saw a post, I think it was today, from Caffey talking about pipe tobacco. And I know we're simply Stogies, but pipe tobacco is 100% regulated now, 100%. They have substantial equivalents. There are no new blends coming out for pipe tobacco. I didn't know this.
Yeah, I didn't either.
I'm not a filthy piper. But if I were, like, are there? I don't know what the PCA is doing about that. Nothing. Like, they're more concerned about making sure that doesn't happen for cigars, which I'm very happy about because I would rather smoke a cigar than a pipe. But who's watching out for these things? Like, I'm not completely against federal regulation. I'm not, and I don't think anybody with half a brain is. Without some level of regulation, God only knows what kind of products you're going to get. And I hear all these nutritionists say, oh, well, we've got red 40 and red dye 40 and this and that, and Europe's banned all that. Well, when you look at the list of things that have been banned and ingredients that have been banned, both in the United States and in Europe, the list for the US is extensive. And the list for Europe is not really that extensive. They have different things on there than we have, but we have more things on our list that's regulated than what they have. So I think regulation, you kind of
that's relative to they never put the stuff in the product to begin with, so they don't have to regulate it because they
don't use the chemicals we use.
Yeah, right. So I mean, I'd say that our list may be longer. It's only because somebody else had to put it on the list because we use it. And it's not that Europe is using those things, or Mexico, that they don't put high fructose corn syrup in their Coca-Cola. They don't do it, so it doesn't need to be on a list. So that's not necessarily an indicative of a better situation.
Well, fair. But I mean, what I'm saying is we regulate. We have a lot of regulation in this country.
Sure, we do.
Too much. Yeah. We need to have some level, I think, of regulation, but I think we're overregulated. And pipe tobacco is a prime example of that. Now, look, cigars it's 100% natural product. It's fermented in a natural way. There's no additives, no chemicals, unless you're talking about infused cigars. There's nothing to them, right? It's just dead leaves. That's it. And so I think that's why they're having a hard time trying to regulate it. I have no idea what goes into processing pipe tobacco. I have no idea because it's not my thing, guys. I wish it was. I'm just not cool enough. Like, I'm not cool enough to pull off like Room 101 jewelry. I'm also not cool enough to like pull off a pipe. So sorry. It just never, I wish I knew more about it, but I don't. But I mean, if they can regulate the hell out of that, they can regulate the hell out of this. And government overreach is a thing. I guess really that's what it boils down to. It's government overreach is a thing. And
there's things that are happening that are outside of our control that are affecting us as an industry, and there's just the things are happening at a level that are all or nothing, and they're so drastic that you don't have a lot of ability to adjust and pivot. So how do you as a small company, and a lot of us are small companies that produce cigars, how do we adjust to something so drastic and dramatic that there's no consideration for, what has to happen? If you're going to make changes, phase them in over time, fine. But if you're going to sit there and all of a sudden it's going to come to from 0 to 10%, 10% to 18%, 18% to 100%, I mean, it's at a speed and at an execution that is just way too much.
Yeah, I mean, this is the post I was referring to earlier. Gabby was going. They were going full steam ahead on a pipe blend, and then came to a screeching halt because they realized how much regulation was actually involved with it.
Sure.
And you think that's why they dropped the pipe tobacco and became the PCA. And that could be. I mean, again, I really think it's a case where the PCA and the CRA go, well, once these things have been passed, once they are law, there's not really anything we can do to change them. And if that's the case,
but we live in a world where you can go in and make changes if you are able to go and advocate and make a case, and it's
right, like what's the point of having, like I just don't understand why give up. Is it a money thing?
Because
Is that
I
it?
think that one is that it's a lot easier to just accept your position than it is to try to change your position. So I think it's
Maybe.
I mean I think it's I'm not the one out there trying to advocate for it, but at the same time it sounds very lazy to me.
It does, and again, I will go back to the PCA has made some mistakes. The CRA has made some mistakes. I'm sure the CAA has made mistakes. I mean, I'm not saying that these entities are perfect, but at some point, if you lose the battle, to just throw your hands up and go, I guess we lost the war. That seems counterintuitive. But again, what the hell do I know? I'm the dumbest guy in the fucking room. It's past the top of the hour. I need to remind you guys that this episode of After Dark, the final episode of Simply Stogies After Dark, is brought to you by smallbatchcigar.com. Smallbatchcigar.com. Use coupon code Stogies. It's down there at the bottom. You see it scrolling. You see it going right there. Look at that. 15% off from now until the end of the year. 15% off. Thank you to Dave West. He was on the show. That show will air November 15th. He's the last one that's recorded and not recorded live. It was such a great conversation with him. And at the end of the show, he was like, I'm going to give you guys this. We're going to up it from 10 to 15 from now until the end of the year. Go spend some money, get that bonus 5% rewards points. It's the holiday season. It's almost upon us. I can't tell you how tired I am already of hearing and seeing Christmas commercials. I hate it. I have been seeing Christmas decorations out since before Halloween. But what I don't hate is smallbatchcigar.com. Smallbatchcigar.com. Go get yourself something nice. Treat yourself. Now's the time. You've been banking these reward points all year long. Go spend your money. Go get yourself that box of cigars you wanted. You want that brand new red pill from Patina? Go get that. You want that brand new brown E Trout from Lure Cigars? Go get that. Now, 15% off. Use coupon code Stogies. Aficionados know, enthusiasts know, and now you know. Smallbatchcigar.com. You order now, you'll definitely get it well before Thanksgiving. Order yourself something nice. Order that brownie trout, or order an Oscuro, the lure Oscuro, or order a big Lou, and smoke it on Thanksgiving. God knows that's what I'm going to do. Smallbatchcigar.com. This episode of Simply Stogies After Dark is also brought to you by none other than Lure Cigars. Smoke great cigars and tell tall tales. Lure Cigars and the brand new kind of brownie trout, released last year as a catch and release in the 6x54 box press Toro. This year, it's now core line, and he brought it back, with a vengeance, including the little trout, the 5x52 box press Robusto. My God, if you have not smoked that box press Robusto, you've not lived, my friend. You're not living. Go live and try the little trout. Do you like chocolate? Of course you do. You live in America. You like chocolate? I like chocolate. Everybody likes chocolate. You want corner piece fudge brownie? You like fudge brownie? Oh man, what's better than that corner piece of a fudge brownie? Little trout, because that's exactly what it is, along with a whole lot of other things, baking spices, leather, earth. It is absolutely delicious. I hate to say this. I like it, I think, a little bit more, just a little bit, tiny bit more than the original brownie trout. So if you haven't tried the little trout, go try it. And if your local tobacconist doesn't carry Lure Cigars, ask them why. Like, just call them on it. Call them on their BS. Be like, hey, why don't you carry Lure? Hey, him and economy. Fuck the economy. Order Lure. And you know what? If they still say no, go to smallbatchcigar.com. Use coupon code Stogies, get 15% off. Lure cigars. Smoke great cigars. Tell tall tales. Lure cigars. I am still smoking this Specialist because the empty can rattles the most, and I just can't. It's just so good. And I am slow smoking this. Tim, are you on your second cigar yet?
No, not yet. I am still. I got a little bit left of the McKelliff Black, and then once I get done with that, the HDA Descending Shadows will be stick number 2 for tonight.
Nice. Brian, what are you smoking for your second cigar? Lure. You can speak.
Nope, that was me. I muted. You were banging around.
Oh. I see how I rank in this corner. Yeah, Lure cigars.
Yeah, that looks like a big Lou. All right, attaboy. Lou, what are you smoking?
I'm finishing up a Little Joe, but I'm about to light up a Mean Gene.
Nice, the Mean Gene. God, I love the Mean Gene. Yeah, look at that. Louis took a screenshot of that. Yeah, he's got to try that. He's got to try that brownie trout. You really do. Brownie trout's so good, so freaking good. Well, look. Well, I know they've already cut it, but I'm gonna tell you guys, can't clip my wings, can clip my cigar though. Brought to you by Blackbird Cigar Company. Blackbird Cigar Company, home of lots of things: the crow, the cuckoo, the unkind, the meadowlark, the cactus wren, the superb. The list goes on and on. The rook. My God, have you not tried these yet? Go try them today. The brand new Superb Lancero's out. All you Lancero fanboys and girls out there, it's your opportunity to go support Lanceros. Hashtag Team Lancero. I really like that Superb blend. It is fantastic. And this Lancero, it's all about the meat to bun ratio. You're going to taste more of the wrapper in this one than you do in the other sizes. Go give it a shot. If your local tobacconist doesn't carry Blackbird, again, ask them why not. And when they hem and they hum, they're like, economy. Go to Small Batch and use coupon code Stogies, 15% off, and try yourself some Blackbird. And then tag us in on Instagram and be like, I'm trying Blackbird, and I will reach out to you personally and I will say, good job. Like, how do you like it? And you'll be like, it's amazing. And I'll be like, I fucking told you. Give me the opportunity to say I told you so. Go try Blackbird cigars. Can't clip my wings. Can't clip my cigar. Blackbird cigars. So we've talked a lot. We talked about why we're quitting the show. The live, the podcast isn't going anywhere. The Clear the Air is not going anywhere. We're just changing the format. We're weekly format now, starting in December, starting with Matt Booth. Then we got Clear the Air the week after that. The week after that, we got Pete Johnson. Like, we just banger after banger after banger, guest after guest after guest after guest. Like, we're going full throttle, baby. We're going full throttle for you. So I hope that you guys join the LE Club. Go to our Patreon, and you can sign up for as little as $3 a month, and you can watch the show live. $10 a month, you get access to our Discord. Come join the community. Be part of the Simply Stogies community, the Simply Stogies universe, and share your guys' journey with us. Because that's how this whole podcast started, was my journey, and it has grown into something much larger, and I hope better than just my fucking journey, because who gives a shit what I'm doing. I want to talk. I know we put an episode out about this last week, but it honestly, and I said this at the top of the show, it's the episode that has gotten the most engagement, the most traction out of any episode we've had in the last probably 3 years. And that's no fucking lie. And it was the cigar media crisis episode, because there's a question mark there, because I'm not convinced there's a cigar media crisis. Now, if you've been living under a rock or you don't consume a lot of cigar media, let me try to catch you up. Let me just bring you up to speed. How About That Cigar, one of the better cigar media outlets out there in cigar media land, is going on hiatus. I don't want to say they're calling it quits. They worded it as they're going on hiatus. Justin is going to go off and do his thing with one of the projects that he's got going on. Matt who started it. He's going off to spend more time with his family, and I'm sure Raul is doing something. I'm not sure what, so I don't want to speak to it. And all of a sudden, when they announced that, you would have thought every media outlet out there lost their fucking minds. Like, oh my God, there's a media crisis. There's like, why are they leaving? These guys they're a voice and they've got a great voice and it's great content. And why are they leaving? And this is a problem. And this is like, why are they? Who's pushing them out? And why are they getting pushed out? And so I felt the need to do an episode. And I'll be honest, I recorded an episode where it was just me for about 20 minutes, and I gave you my thoughts, and they were raw, and it was unfiltered. And then thankfully, Tim and Jimmy came on board, and they were like, "Hey, let us do this episode with you." And I said, "Thank you." And they kind of pulled me back from the edge. Well, Tim did. I think Jimmy was trying to push me over the edge a little bit. But Tim was doing a good job of being the voice of reason, which is like, when Tim's the voice of reason, you know that you have gone way overboard. So I don't know if there's a crisis in cigar media. What I said during the episode is I think it's more of a crisis in the cigar manufacturers, because they don't know what cigar media is. They don't know how to treat cigar media. They can't differentiate between cigar media and influencers. They can't differentiate between true cigar media and Instagram clicks and likes. In my mind, there's a big difference between them. And it's not my place to gatekeep. I'm just a talking head. I have people on and we have interviews and I put them up, I give them a platform to highlight their story, their journey, their cigars, their company, and that's it. And I try to dive a little bit deeper. I don't know how good of a job I do. I think I do an okay job of that. And then we have the after show where we go a little bit deeper into that. So I want to ask the one guy that's on here that is in cigar manufacturing. I want to put him on the spot. He's a friend of mine, and I know he'll yell at me later, and I'm okay with that. But Lou, in your mind as a cigar manufacturer, is there really a difference between true cigar media, cigar press, so to speak, the press, and influencers and Instagram shows and those kind of? Is there a difference, or? And do you, as a manufacturer, do you have time to kind of parse those and go, well, what shows should I spend my time on, and which ones should I not? Or is it just, well, it's all free publicity, so I guess I'll just go on all of it?
I would say, look, I go back to the same, message from a small, upcoming, less than 2-year-old manufacturing entity in an industry that is so regulated when it comes to advertising and being able to try to have a platform to go out and tell your story and sell your product, that any press is good press when it comes to exposure. I mean, especially when it's positive. I mean, nobody wants negative press. I mean, in terms of, but I don't subscribe to that. But when I am offered an opportunity to tell my story with anybody, you can go out there and search podcasts, and there's some people that have 2 people that watch their, program or read their blog or whatever it is. And there's people that had millions of clicks and eyeballs watching their programming and their story and their message. I'm not one to judge. I mean, I think that with the way that most of the stuff that's out there on the internet is evergreen, so that, the more exposure you have, the better it is for your company.
Mhm.
I will say that I have found value with some of the more polished and professional outlets in terms of being able to see return on investment of time by people having exposure to the brand. They've seen something somewhere, they listen to the authority, and you guys, have to work very hard to try to maintain your audience and bring content and bring things that you find relevant to your audience. So I do subscribe to anybody that's willing to give me a platform. I'm happy to tell the story, and I'm happy to share the love for cigars that I have. But every everybody that's out there that's doing it at a professional level, meaning that in some way or fashion, they're making an effort to try to make their product better. There are entities that go out and they take press releases and they distribute them and they become the authority to be able to spread the news of what's going on in the industry. And that's one element of the press, cigar press. The second is people that go out there and they have their opinions and they, more of an editorial, and they don't necessarily do interviews, but they take their opinion by smoking the cigars or doing their own homework, and then they tell the story. And then there's the third leg, which is like you guys do, which is more of the 60 minutes expose, and you give somebody a talk show seat to be able to sit there and have an interview, and you really get to know the people behind the brands. And at the end of the day, cigars for me, it's more about the people and the personalities and getting to know, because at the end, our products are not that much different. We all roll up dead leaves of tobacco, like you say, and that we put them out there with a band and a story. But you get to know the people behind the brands, and I think that that's unique in a sense that you really try to understand what is making the person take the risk and put their life energy into something of making a cigar and putting it out there for people to smoke. And there's other people that do that too, but you guys do it really, really well. And not to fluff your, skirt
No,
up a little bit,
fluff away. Yeah, that's nice.
but I think that, one of the reasons why I invest my time and I invest in advertising with you guys is because there's real value in a sense that the message gets out to the consumer, and the consumers pay attention to people that make an investment in their platform to spread the message. And I haven't shied away from anybody that's invited me to go and participate in a discussion with their audience, but at the same time, not everybody does it at the same level. And I would love to see people make the investments and take it serious, because I'm trying to do that. I'm trying to make investments in my company and take it serious. This is not just some hobby. This is a way that I'm earning a living, and I want people to understand that I take it serious, and having a platform to be able to tell the story and spread the word. And when I get an opportunity that's a reasonable place to advertise, I take advantage of that, because we don't have the places, like you can't go into print advertising. You can't do, normal things that other manufacturing and other industries get to take advantage of. We're very select in where we can operate.
Yeah.
So for sure. I don't know if that answers your question, but
no, it does.
Yeah,
it does. No, I appreciate the candidness, the openness, because I don't begrudge, and I said this on the episode, I don't begrudge anybody going on any show, like no matter how unpolished or if they're press or if they're an influencer or whatever they are. I don't begrudge that, because it is free publicity, and I think that that's a way for you to get your brand out there and your story out there, and it's guerrilla marketing, and you are limited in where you can do things. So I don't begrudge that at all. And I appreciate that you make an investment in us, more than because there are a lot of folks in the industry that don't, and they still see magazines as the way to go, print publications instead of podcasts, because they still see us. This was the point that I made. They see us as bloggers. They see us as incels in our mom's basement plugging away going, I hate that cigar. Well, it's not very often that we give a cigar anything lower than an 8.7. Not very often at all. We try to stay very positive. We're not here to ruin anyone's business. We're not here to shit anyone's parade. And only when it's something that's egregious. And even then, like, I struggle with it. Not to pick on Saka, we did a Solita Red a review recently that got a very low score. And that was because every cigar that I have smoked out of that box, except one, and I've smoked now several after I've done the review. I smoked 3 for the review. Every one but one will tunnel. It has to be relit. It has to be touched up. It just does not. And that happens. It's a handmade product. And I even said in the review, I'm like, it tastes great. The flavors are amazing. Like, if you love Dunbarton, you'll love this cigar. This was just my experience. And you have to have that. You just to keep some integrity, some journalistic integrity. You have to be honest, not just with your audience, but with the manufacturers as well. And I'm not asking for anyone to refund me or give me a free cigars. We don't do that here. But it's just my experience, and I want my audience to know my experience. I want to ask the retailer in the room, Brian Bolin, and I know you make an investment in us. You're part of the LE Club. You're at what was the highest tier, $30 a month. You like what we do, and I appreciate that. But you own Smoldering Cigar in Livermore, Iowa. And as a retailer, as a shop owner, as a tobacconist, as a B&M, do you pay attention to cigar media, and do you see a difference between press and influencers and some of the more unpolished shows that are just out there doing their thing, and then kind of, not to say that we're polished, but we certainly do put a lot of time, effort, and money into what we do. Do you see a difference, and does that make a difference to you?
Yeah, I see a difference in it. When you have a more polished or when the media is doing a platform where you can listen to the principal talk about his story, and when we play that kind of stuff here in the lounge, it creates conversation, and I get feedback from that. Like, especially if it's a principal that I don't carry or something like that, I get feedback. I get to know. Whereas, and if you get influence and stuff, it's just kind of like a once over. It doesn't create conversation. Maybe it was, kind of quaint and short and nice, and it was just fun to look at. But it's more the real media really makes a difference, at least in my store, because I like to play that stuff. I don't know it all, and for sure. And so, and I don't always know what to bring in. And so it's always good to get feedback from my customers. And it's hard to always just go out and buy cigars that you think might work and then try to get feedback that way. It's much easier for me on the retail side to play that up on the screen, and everybody sit down and we're all smoking and it's kind of playing in the background and something catches their ear, and next thing you know, that's our next 20-minute conversation about. And it just brings the room together. So the more polished, I don't know if polished is the right word, but the more that if someone's taking it serious and given the principal a platform, because for consumers, man, that connection is everything to them. It really does bring that cigar into it, because, hey, man, I mean, let's face it, not everybody can pull 4 or 5 different flavors out of a cigar, or sometimes not even more than one. And so it's that connection that brings them into, I really love this cigar. I can relate with that guy and how he started, or that guy's history, or how he made his cigars, or how he became or what he did in the past to get to the point that he is now. That is something that I struggled with. And those are things that you get when you watch shows like yours, and that gives that platform for them. It creates a better scenario for me as a retailer.
Yeah, no, I would agree. Tim, I know that when I said we were going to cover this week for our last live show, you said, yeah, let's kick that dead horse. So
I absolutely did not say that.
I would like you to continue to beat this dead horse and give me your thoughts on this.
Man, here's the thing, right? Is why do I have? Looks like there's something up on the screen there. I can't even read that. There's a bunch of different people with different outlets out there, right? Like there's different podcasts, there's different blogs, there's different websites, Instagram only, whatever. And if there's people watching, then I don't think it's a bad thing, right? It might not be something that I'm interested in, but I don't think it's a bad thing. As a manufacturer, like Lou was saying, you might do a little bit of research and be like, no, that just doesn't really fit with my brand. Similar to what you do when you go to a lounge and you're like, maybe I should get into this lounge. And then you get to the lounge and you're like, man, this lounge doesn't fit my brand.
Yeah.
But it is a great way to get your story out, especially when you have such a great story and a great product, right?
Mm-hmm.
As far as the lounge goes, I honestly don't know why this is new to me, and I'm still trying to wrap my head around when lounges are playing, cigar media or YouTube channels and stuff like that on the TV. I get it. It's just a completely new experience to me because
it's a form of advertising.
100%. Yeah. So I don't know. Like, as far as, you were talking how this all started off, or how about that cigar, like, shut the doors. Yeah, I do think people just blew up and threw it all out of proportion. And I still don't understand that. But
yeah. I don't either. I just kind of play with some of the things StreamYard is letting us do now.
So they're always upgrading this stuff. So
yeah, they have to justify how much they charge us.
Well, that's true.
I don't know. I have been trying to be very self-aware here. I've been hypercritical of cigar media more this year than I have before. And I'll be honest, I don't watch a lot of cigar media. I just don't. Number one, if I do something, I want it to be because I wanted to do it. And like, we had the idea and Tim and I brainstorm and we come up with something, or, myself, Jimmy, and Tim and Nick, we all sit around and we try to figure out what we're doing. Like, so I don't want to copy anybody.
I'll check out other cigar media if I hear that they're going to have somebody on the show that I'm interested in, that I want to see. That's usually when I'll jump on, but otherwise.
Yeah. Otherwise, yeah.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
So before the internet and before bloggers and all this, the labels and platforms where people could publish without any kind of editorial or it was easy now to basically, you can start an Instagram account, you can start a StreamYard. It doesn't, it requires some investment, but you can get started for, not, using a cell phone and a live stream. People would go to a lounge and they would tell stories in the lounge, and the retailer had very limited places to get information. And they would get press releases by way of maybe Half Wheel, because they've been around longer than most, and other news outlets. I mean, there were radio programs and bulletin boards and things. But you had magazines, and people would sit there and they would either subscribe to a magazine or they would look at it in the lounge. They would be on the table there in the lounge, and people would thumb through it, and you'd make decisions. I'm asking the question maybe to Brian in terms of a retailer. You'd be making decisions based on who was advertising in catalogs, or what stories they decided to tell in the magazines. Cigar Journal, Cigar Aficionado, Cigar Press, and on these other things. Well, now you've got all of these people that want to give their opinion, and which is great, because you find the people that you trust, and you go and you maybe take the investment of when they say this is a good cigar, you go try it, and if you agree, then you choose to bring that cigar into your lounge. But from a manufacturing standpoint, we have two audiences when it comes to telling our story. One, we've got to connect with the consumer, who we don't have direct sales contact with. At least I don't. I don't sell direct to consumers. So I have to look at places like podcasts and herfing with people on Discord and participating in Facebook discussions and Instagram as a way to connect directly to the consumer. And I don't have Gabby's. He's posting about how, what it was like 15 years ago, to mail flyers to shops and inform them of what was going on. And, and all of a sudden cigar media came out, and they're doing a lot of the work and the heavy lift of getting that message out there. So applause to cigar media at the macro level. But, we want to connect with consumers as a manufacturer. We want you to like our products so that you'll go and you'll talk to the retailer. But the retailer, at the end of the day, they have to make a decision of where to spend their money and where to take the risk and buy, a couple hundred cigars to be able to sell in their humidor. And so, cigar media does a good job in some venues to be able to inspire a retailer to say, gosh, this is something that I want to bring into my lounge and I want to share with my customers. But you can't be dependent on cigar media alone to sell cigars.
No.
You have to understand that the retailer has got to believe in the story. The story sells the first cigar, but the cigar themselves have to sell the box. And you cannot be dependent on cigar media. So if there's any criticism from a manufacturer standpoint that cigar media is not doing a good enough job, I think that's bullshit. And I think that the responsibility, we can only do so much to put a great product out and have an authentic, great story to back it up. But cigar media is there to help perpetuate and help as a catalyst to get that out. But the retailers have got to do their job to be able to tell the story and say, this is a cigar worthy of your time and attention. Your hard-earned money.
Yeah, absolutely. You can stick the best cigar in my humidor that's ever been made, and if I don't ever walk by it or point it out, nobody will ever smoke it.
Yeah.
Nope.
No, 100%. And I feel like there are so many folks out there that just regurgitate press releases, and that's fine. And we decided a long time ago. I started this now almost 7 years ago, 7 years in February. And I decided within that first 6 months, I'm like, I'm just not going to regurgitate press releases anymore, because that's what everybody else is doing. I don't want to do that. This is not who we want to be. I'm not going to spend my time on that.
Well, that, and it became a fight.
And
it became a fight to see who could get that press release out first.
Yeah.
And it was just stupid.
Yeah, and ultimately it's silly, because not everybody. And look, I've said before, Half Wheel is about as close to real journalists that this industry sees. Which is why they fetch such a high price for their advertising, and why they have such a wide audience, and why they're the best. And even Mike Sevenkevich from Pastania had said, Charlie Minato is the only one that's out there calling when he knows something's coming out, and he calls. He's like, "Hey, do you have an update on this?" No, I'm not doing that, because I don't do press releases. I would rather hear it straight from the horse's mouth and have them on. And my audience is almost 100% consumers. I would say it's 90% consumers and 10% the industry, because the industry, while they know who we are now, and I'm very thankful that they do, they certainly don't understand how wide of a reach our audience has. 3,000 to 5,000 downloads a month for the podcast. We're growing the YouTube channel, but that's what they can see. They can see the YouTube channel and they go, oh, they're only getting 100, 150 views on this. They're not very big. I don't give a fuck about
those
YouTube.
YouTube views are so off anyway.
Yeah, I just don't give two shits about YouTube.
Well, but
I don't give two shits about social media either, because that's not where our bread and butter are.
Sure.
We get 85,000 unique views a month. That's over 1 million sets of eyes every year looking at our website.
Sure.
The manufacturers just they don't know what they don't know.
And people watch and they listen to your podcast. I mean, that's where the real messaging is reaching. But the audience, I don't know this, and you could ask Charlie and Brooks and the other team that's there at Half Wheel, but most of the people that are paying attention to Half Wheel are manufacturers and maybe some retailers. Most consumers are not getting their news from Half Wheel in a sense, unless they're really a cigar nerd that's looking out there for what's happening. And then they go and they follow up because there's a great story and they're great to cover the press release that says this cigar is coming out. And they do reviews as well, but they're not as nearly as frequent. But when the time comes that maybe Half Wheel puts out the message that this is coming out, then you go look at other sources for opinions from other people who are out there smoking it, faster and sooner, and getting the message and the story out there. And some retailers even take an effort to put messaging out there, which I applaud them. But that's a lot of work too. But I think it's a combination of all the different pieces and parts of cigar media that make it work. And it's imperative that you have all the different levels, from the guy that's got his one opinion, one cell phone, and 12 viewers, to the people that are out there that are millions of eyeballs and then you've got the other side of things where you've got the industry as a whole that's justifying and legitimizing you as a brand that's out there just like everybody else putting stuff out. And I've never been made to feel less by Half Wheel, and they've always treated me with respect when it comes to putting out press releases. They treat me the same as everybody else. And you guys have always done the same thing when you treated me as a guest and a manufacturer, just the way that somebody's been in the industry for decades. So it's all in how you posture and how you do things. And there's other podcasts that do a great job of seeking out the smaller story, and maybe it's not big enough for other venues to pick up. There's podcasts that I've never been invited on that I'm sure would be great press for my brand, but I'm very thankful for anybody that has an audience that they're willing to share my story.
But let me ask you a question. I mean, it really kind of boils down to if the guy can ask the right questions, right? Because you watch some of these, and if they're not asking the principal the right question,
what were you thinking about? What were you thinking about when you were blending this? Like, what was your what the fuck? I wanted to make a good cigar. Like that, like what kind of question is that? I hate that question. Like, let's talk wrapper binder filler. Shut the fuck up. I'm so tired of hearing about wrapper binder filler.
Well,
I get it.
No,
There are people out there that want to hear that. There
Yeah.
is. I'm not, but that's just not us. And I don't consider that press. That's
is
not
cereal a soup?
Yeah,
I
like
mean,
right. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing?
I mean,
yeah, we need
who makes
questions.
the best roast beef sandwich? I don't know. I mean,
And I get that there's an audience for that. There are people that just want to kind of turn their brain off and smoke a cigar with the guys, and that's they're the ones that have community that they can mobilize because they feel like this kinship with them. And like I've said, I've never wanted to be the star of the show. Like, it's the cigar is the star, the manufacturer is the star. We give them a platform. That's what we do. And then we have things like this where we ask questions and we kind of, have a little bit of fun, and the audience can get to know us. But real quick, I want to give a big shout out to Brian Bradley, lifetime LE Club member, tuning in from Did It My Way Cigar Lounge in Detroit. So if you're in Detroit, look, if Brian's at a lounge, it's probably a pretty good lounge. You might want to stop in and say, see what's going on there. Rob Lau says, very true about the humidor. The store owners are largely responsible for what sells. Customers often don't try new sticks if not pointed out. Let me say this about that, because when we approach people for advertising, it's always a weird proposition, right? Because I can tell them that 21% of podcast listeners will or 22% will immediately make a purchase because I mentioned their brand. And that's true. Market research bears that out. And we can, how much is a typical cigar in your, what's the average price of a cigar in your lineup? Let's say it's $12.50. Okay, well, that's a $12.50 sale. 22% of those 3,000 to 5,000 people every month are going to go buy a cigar in your lineup because I said something. And if you're a retailer, guess what? I mean, the average cigar sale is what, $50? Like, guess what? I just made you $50. And that's, even at 0.3% of people on a website will click and they'll go and they'll make a purchase. So I can tell them that there is potential to make money. I can't guarantee they're going to make any money. But the only thing I can really guarantee based on market research is what? Cigar recall, like brand recall, brand recognition, and brand awareness in the humidor. And that's just like you guys are all saying, it's one piece of the puzzle, and the retailer kind of has to pick it up from there. And the retailer has to do their job. And I've talked ad nauseum on this show about how there are not a lot of great retailers out there. There are retailers that will only push certain brands. There are retailers who do like, oh, stay away from this one. Like, so if I say, hey, go try X brand, and they're like, I never heard of them. Fuck that. Like, smoke this instead. Because they think they know better. Instead of being open and going, oh, maybe we should give that a try. Maybe we should call and see if we can't get samples. Maybe we should try to bring it in. They would rather not. And especially in this economy, like everyone's saying it's a slowdown. It's hard for manufacturers to cold call and say, hey, I'd love to have my brand in your humidor, or walk in and say, hey, I'd love to have our brand in your humidor. Thanks. No, thanks. It's kind of the slow season, which is weird to me that winter's the slow season. That's kind of the slow season.
Me too.
We're not going to bring anything in. And I get it. If you don't have the money, you don't have the money. But maybe keep that in the back of your mind. Put that in your back pocket and be like, you know what? Maybe I should give these guys a call and try their cigars. And if they're good, I'll bring them in. Because, look, I've been in enough humidors to know not everything moves. Not everything's moving. And you've got to get real creative real quick to move some stuff. So maybe get creative, move some stuff, make some room for the new things to come in. So Brian says, that is a very nice spot in Detroit. So yeah, definitely check out my, Did It My Way Cigars. Like, what a great name for a cigar lounge. Did It My Way. Little blue eyes going on there. It's a weird thing for me to talk about a cigar media crisis, because there's not a crisis in cigar media. There's just not. How about that cigar?
There is a disrespect, though, that goes on, right?
I think that there is that is a large factor. Again, really? I think that the crisis is on the manufacturing side, and there are a lot of manufacturers who look at us as those damn bloggers, and all we want is free shit, and all we want to do is shit on a brand because that's what get clicked, that's what drives traffic, and that's just objectively not true. It is just objectively not true. Now, it may be the case with some of these folks, influencers and whatnot. I don't know. I can't speak for anybody else. I can only speak for us. When we do a review, we buy the cigar. We never review free things, ever. Ever. If manufacturers send us free stuff, and I'm not going to tell you they don't, because they do, but it's not like it's a ton of cigars, we don't review them. If it goes into a review, we purchase it because we purchase it the way you would purchase it. We don't get a discount anywhere except small batch cigar. We use coupon code Stogies and we get typically 10% off. Now we get 15% off till the end of the year. That's it. We try to do things the right way here. And we try to highlight this industry and put it in a positive light. And look, sometimes that's hard, especially when sometimes manufacturers do things that are dumb. And sometimes there's a lot of infighting. And sometimes the PCA and the CAA and the CRA and they make missteps. It's hard, but we still talk about it. But at the end of the day, it's about trying to be a net positive in this industry and not a net negative. And I get that it's hard for manufacturers to spend some of their bandwidth on trying to parse through who's good and who's not, who's press and who's an influencer, who should I invest with, not just my time, but my money to get some return on this investment, whatever that might be, because there's no way you'll ever know.
Yeah,
like
but
Lou,
isn't selling one cigar an investment?
But Lou, is there any way you could ever know that Simply Stogies helped sell one cigar of Lure?
Well, only if I get feedback from the consumer that says, "Hey, I saw your cigars on the show," and I have had people do that. But there's not.
Really?
Sure, but there's not.
Isn't that how
but there's not
Isn't that how I got Lou in with your guys?
100%.
Yeah, that's
100%.
probably accurate.
So, I mean, word of mouth is the strongest resource for connecting with both the retailer and the consumer. And, I don't think that is unique to the cigar industry. I think that when you get somebody that's willing to put their opinion out there and share their opinion that they like something, whether it be food or whiskey or cigars or a car or, fishing tackle or whatever it is, I do think that somebody's opinion of somebody that you trust is more valid than any advertising and more clever packaging or anything that you could possibly ever come up with. And I think that the real goal is to invest your time and money with people whose opinions are respected,
validated.
And I think that, at the end of the day, I think you guys work very hard, and there's several other venues that work very hard to share what they feel and share their opinions about things. And those are the places where you tend to want to put your time and energy and investment in. And I've been very fortunate to connect with people via the internet because I can't be in all places at all times. I have found that there is always a surge in sales when I go and do an event at a brick and mortar retail establishment. I find that there is an increase in sales, not just when there's a 20% off discount code or a 15% discount code or whatever, that those things happen and they do see a boost in sales for that period of time. But when I connect with the people, that is where my brand has seen success in being able to see people smoke Lure cigars and continue to smoke Lure cigars. And so I say that cigar media has been a absolute blessing to be able to have, had been able to, share the story and out there. And yes, I mean, I can't look at it from a 1-to-1 and say that, my sales are up 10% because I advertise at a place or I spend my time hanging out on their turf. But at the same time, I see people and I see people that post on my Instagram feed that I repost on my Instagram feed and on Facebook where they're smoking Lure cigars and they're enjoying it. And so, yes, I mean, do you consider Facebook cigar media when it comes down to a group that is not necessarily producing any kind of, well done podcast or regurgitating?
It's word of mouth.
Facebook, it's word of mouth. And so, but That's where the real connection is to connect with the people. And Cigar Media is just one great venue to be able to connect with people.
We bridge the gap between
Yeah.
retailer and consumer. I mean, that's really what we do. And I kind of Brian, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I like the fact that there are different types of media, right? Like you guys do a platform where we get to know the principal, whereas other platforms let us know more about the cigar that's coming out or review it, and then there's other platforms that give you insight on how how the cigar was. They concentrate more on where it was made and how it was made. You just get different points of view, and I think that those are all important factors that when it comes into it. But you can't ever say the media doesn't impact the retailer, because it does all the time. Whether you play it in your lounge or whether they saw it on their phone or they're in there. I mean, because everybody. I mean, as much as I try not to let that happen here, people still get on their phones, right? I mean, I try to make sure conversation's always going so people aren't. But Lou's right. I mean, brick and mortar, when you go, I mean, Lou was here in July, and I still, just Wednesday, I had people in here, and they were talking about the July event and how down to earth Lou was, and they felt like, man, he was just one of the guys, that he was walking around and that he sat at my table and talked to me like he knew me forever. And they're still talking about that. And that was in July when he was here. Right. So, I mean, those, the brick and mortar, and that aspect, he's absolutely right. But the media part of it, man, you got to take it. You got to take it. And then it falls on me. It falls on the retailer to take that information and validate it on, did they get that from a legit site, or, is this a true thing or a fad, and then work your magic from there. So there's a lot more than just saying, media, right?
And look,
I mean,
let me talk just a minute about support, and then we'll wrap this up. But I mean, support comes in a lot of different forms, and we are very appreciative of everyone who has supported us by listening to our podcast, watching the podcast on YouTube and Rumble, joining us for the lives and commenting. Watching us on Facebook and Instagram and all of the other places that we're at when we do the lives. And we're, that's one way you can support us, and we're very appreciative of that. And the next level of support is telling your friends, sharing the post, sharing, whatever you can share, our podcast, our YouTube, our Rumble, sharing our Instagram and getting your friends and those people that you talk to in the lounges, that you talk to when you're smoking a cigar, when you're herfing on a Zoom call, and saying, hey, you guys should really check this out. Like, they're doing a good job. Like, that's the next level of support. The next level of support beyond that is joining the Patreon, right? Like, that's it. Like, join the LE Club, $3 a month. Like, that's it. $36 a year. And you can watch live starting December 7th or December 2nd. You can watch us live as we record. And we have got different tiers all the way up to $100 a month, which I don't think anybody would do. But if you want to be, an executive producer of the show and outrank Tim, like, hey, let's do it. I'm all for it.
I'm glad Shauna's not on here.
I'll give her a call later. As a manufacturer, the first level of support is coming on the show. And we are very appreciative of every manufacturer, every retailer, every person of influence in the industry that comes on our show. We are super appreciative of that, because that's their time. They're investing their time with us, and we're very thankful for that. The next level of support for a manufacturer is to share with their audience. Hey, I was on this show. I think it was a good interview. I had a great time. If you're a fan of what I do, go watch Simply Stogies and put that on your social media and tell your fans, your audience, about us. That's the next level. You know who's great at that? Brian Dezen, Pravada Cigar Club. That guy has been reposting like every reel, every short that we've been putting out. He's commented on them. And I am very appreciative of that. Lou, you do that too when you're on the show. You share it and you post it and you put it out there. And I that means as much to me as the next level of support, which is financial. And I get that it's hard for manufacturers to spend money when they can't track a return on investment, because you really can't. And I know that Joe Ross says a specific discount code or affiliate link could help identify. It can. It absolutely can. Use coupon code Stogies when you go to smallbatchcigar.com. You're going to get 15% off, and that helps us. 100% that helps us. But that's not even what it's about. It's about keeping small batch cigar top of mind, right? And I know there are countless manufacturers that are at smallbatchcigar.com that do not advertise with us. They don't want to put that in there because they still see us as bloggers. And while they'll come on because like Lou said, hey, I'll come on your show. It's free publicity. They don't want to make an investment in what we're doing. They don't want to make an investment in what Cigar Press really is. And I think we're press. We may not regurgitate frickin' press releases like everybody else, but we certainly don't have silly segments like super. Is it super cereal? Is a hot dog a sandwich? Like, that's not what we do. We're simply Stogies, and that's what we talk about. Simply Stogies, and we will champion your brand, and we will be the biggest champion of your brand if you invest with us. If you say, I like what you're doing, I'm going to help you keep doing it, because I'm just going to be honest with everybody. This sucks. It's not just a time suck. It's a money suck. And my wife finally looked at me, and it wasn't just Nick and Randy and a few other guys who were like, you just need to start taking some advertising. I think Lou even said at one point, you need to start taking advertising. It was my wife who was like, if you don't start making some money from this and just have it pay for itself, like, you could probably find another place to live. I mean, she didn't say it like that. But I mean, I could read between the lines. I'm not dumb. I'm just the dumbest guy in the room. So I had no choice. It's all about support. And anytime people who are looked at as, oh, they're just a regular guy doing something, kind of extra regular, no need to support them. You do. If you don't, we go away. We lose voices in this industry because this is hard and it is expensive. You want to go to the trade show, because if you're not at the trade show, you're not relevant.
Well, speaking of relevancy, you do something also where you review cigars and you have honest reviews that are, looked at. For a lot of the cigars you review are from brands that have no financial support.
Mm-hmm.
And, the thing is that you have an objective approach to how you do your cigar reviews, even though a lot of review is subjective. You try to do it as objectively as you possibly can when you go out there and do that. And that builds trust that when you're reviewing a cigar and you say something is good, that it's not just the person that's interviewed, or it's not just the person that is paying your advertising rates to do it. And I think that gives me confidence to put my money with you, because it's there. So,
and Cigars Unbanded, like there's another great example of guys who I think are doing it the right way. It's literally unbanded cigars they're reviewing, and then it's like, oh, it's this. I mean, you can't get more unbiased than that. You honestly can't. And they're doing it the right way. No, it's expensive. So if you're not supporting the people you like and the voices you trust in the industry, and this goes for not just the consumers, it goes for the retailers, and it goes for the manufacturers as well. If you're not supporting financially the people who you trust in this industry, the people you trust in this industry will one day not be there.
Yeah.
And then who are you left with? Then you are left with nothing but influencers. You're not real cigar media, not real cigar press. And who loses then? The answer is easy. Everybody.
Yeah.
Consumers, retailers, manufacturers, they all lose. So it's up to you guys. The crisis is not in cigar media. The crisis is in cigar manufacturers. Look, I want to end the show. This is our final live show ever. After Dark series is going away.
Cut.
We're canceling Bolin. He's very upset about it. But look, we're going to go to a weekly format starting December 2nd. The next show is tomorrow. We've got the Clear the Air from Pravada Cigar Club, Brian Dezen. That was a fun episode, so look forward to that. There's going to be a new review coming out on Sunday, the West Tampa Dark Time. Look for that, and we're really trying to ramp up our reviews through the end of this month to get them in to be considered for Cigar of the Year. So that's all coming up. So you're going to be seeing that everywhere as Cigars of the Year. Again, who do you trust? Who do you trust? But I want to end this show. I want to kind of just, I want to start with Brian, and then I'll go to Lou. And then I just want to end with me and Tim. I want to know, like, so Brian, we've done this show now for, I don't know, a little more than a year. And you've been on a lot of the episodes.
Yeah, probably almost everyone.
Yeah. Is there something you learned doing this show? Like, what did you get anything out of this live show, this After Dark, the Simply Stogies After Dark? What will you take away from your experiences with this live program?
Wow, that's a big question. I believe it or not, I got to know more of how you guys react and to the situations and conversations that we have and the comments that people bring in. I got to see you guys more as a live action type thing going on, where I could see you guys working right at it. And so I felt more connected with the show, which is why we invest in it. And, and I believe in you guys and all that stuff. So, it was really good.
Thanks, Brian. I appreciate those very kind words. And Lou, what over the last, you've been on the majority of these shows as well. What have you gotten out of this show, Lou? Anything like
Sure.
What are you taking away from it?
So one of the things is the conversations that happen here are what we would happen if we were live and in person in a cigar lounge. And
True.
Geography just limits our ability to be in the same space at the same time. And one of the things I have seen be very successful for other platforms that do, I'll say cigar media in general, just to further the conversation.
Sure.
When you have the public available to participate in a conversation and it's live, and people are sitting here on a Friday night and they're spending their time smoking cigars and they're sitting there shooting the breeze, it is great to just get together and talk about something that we're all passionate about. And I am encouraged because your format is changing to where you're going to allow your Patreon supporters to watch the podcasts live as it's happening. I think that's exciting. And they'll be able to comment the same way that people are doing through this After Dark series. And while I will miss, hanging out in a live nature, you and I and Tim and Brian and other people from Simply Stogies, you have the Discord also. So I'm hoping that these conversations will continue, not just during the live Patreon supported dialogue that happens as a result of the podcast going weekly, which is exciting. But I'm hoping that there's going to be more participation the way there are in other Discord groups, that you guys will have these conversations and they'll be accessible, because I enjoy talking to you and I enjoy, shooting the breeze. That will continue to happen on the Simply Stogies Discord for members of the Discord there as well. So, I've learned that when you have a forum and you have people that pop on, other manufacturers, other people from the industry, they comment. People like to share their thoughts, and as long as you have another venue where those thoughts can be shared interactively and not passively just listening to a podcast or watching it, 2 weeks after it happens. I like the live component of it, and I hope that there's other opportunities to be able to have those like live conversations.
Yeah, no, thank you. And there will be. Like, join the Discord. Go to our website, simplystogies.com. You can join the Discord. You can join the conversation. Tim and I are usually there every night around 8:30 Central. And I can be there earlier and hang out, have a cigar, and talk to you guys about whatever you want to talk about. You can ask me about my day. You can ask me about what I'm smoking. You can ask about what's smoking real well. We can talk about the industry, or we can talk about whatever you want. Personal stuff. I guess. I don't know. Do you really want to know me personally? I mean, if you do, great. I'm all about it. I need friends. I don't have friends. I have Tim. Which is, man, more of a burden sometimes than anything else. Before I get to you, Tim, I do want to thank all of our LE Club members that have come on throughout this 12 plus months and done this with us. Brian Bradley, Ryan, Randy Carmichael, Shauna, Gesticles, the list I know I'm missing people. Chad Manson has been on a couple times. Just everybody who supports us financially has come on, has been a part of this show, and had their voices heard. Thank you. And this show is not about putting it into your voices. We want your voice. We just want it every Tuesday when we record live for you on our Patreon. So thank you guys. So before I get to Tim, I want to thank Brian and Lou for joining us tonight. I'm going to put you guys in the green room. Please hang out for just a little bit. We'll be done and we can talk afterwards. But thanks guys for coming on. I really appreciate it. You guys are awesome. All right. Tim, it's just me and you.
Yeah. Oh wow. Just me and you.
Just me and you, buddy. What did you get out of this show? Every the first Friday of every month for the last year or so. What have you learned?
It's what I really enjoyed about this episode was getting to hear other people's thoughts and opinions about numerous different subjects, because most of the time I'm going to gather that little chunk of information. I'm going to form my opinion, and then that's just going to be my opinion until somebody else says something that I can be like, yeah, that's a better way to look at it than the way I was looking at it. So that is one thing. The other thing that I want to say that I learned is a lot of technology from doing this over the past year and a half. If you remember, we started out with Zoom, and I had a Raspberry Pi in my basement, and I was using OBS, and I don't know how to use OBS, and trying to figure out how to take the Zoom feed and put that through OBS to get to YouTube. And it was just a complete mess. And then we ended up upgrading to StreamYard and seeing the leaps and bounds that StreamYard has done in the past 6 to 8 months. Like technology wise, different cameras, different microphones, all sorts of different technology, all sorts of new things. And that's something that I'm passionate about. So yeah, I learned a shit ton, even outside of cigars, just doing this episode with you. And I learned that your soapbox grows and grows and grows.
Yeah, well, you're not wrong. Yeah. They do say, Tim, the empty can rattles the most.
It
and
does,
I talk a lot.
Yeah, which is good because that means I don't have to. So
yeah, you don't really. The only show you really have to talk a lot on is Clear the Air. And on that show, you learn big words.
I do.
Yeah.
Thanks, buddy.
You're getting a thesaurus for Christmas, brother.
Yeah.
Tim, I want to thank you for all everything that you do for us. And you continue to do for us. Again, we're not going anywhere. The podcast is staying. Clear the Air is staying. This show's going away. But yeah, Tim, at the beginning, like just learning everything and getting it all set up, and it was a clusterfuck. Like you did a great job. And so all of the lives,
still learning
the trade show. Yeah, it's a learning process. So thanks for what you do, buddy. And thanks for putting up with not only my soapbox, but my really just punching down on you.
Somebody's going to do it. Might as well be you.
It's a lot. Like it's not just somebody. It's usually a few people. But
yeah. Y'all gang up on me, but it's all fun. I know you guys are just giving me a hard time just for fun, so I don't take offense to it.
Yeah, the day I stop giving you a hard time is the day you might be like, is he gonna tell me he doesn't need me anymore?
Yeah. Hey honey, I got a lot more free time now.
A lot more free time all of a sudden. Yeah. What have I learned? Thanks for asking, Tim.
I was just about to.
Yeah, I know. I have learned that this is really a community. Honestly, it is. And whether you participate in that community with us or not is irrelevant, because I know that a lot of you that watch participate in other communities, and you only get out of the communities what you put into them. And we're trying to make our community better. We're trying to connect with you guys on a more personal level. And maybe taking this show away is a mistake. But what it allows us to do is it allows us to streamline. And I have learned that we have to streamline. We have to evolve or die. And as I have said, for the most of this year, media has to learn what media is, and we have to act accordingly. And part of that for us is learning that this show, while it works and while it's great, It just didn't take off the way we would hope it would have. So we're going to streamline, and we're going to put our focus where it matters. We're going to put our focus where we're getting 3,000 to 5,000 downloads a month. We're going to put our focus where we're getting 85,000 unique views a month. And we're going to continue to grow. We have grown exponentially over the last 24 months. And that's all due to you guys, the community. And I am forever grateful. And I am forever grateful to our sponsors, smallbatchcigar.com, and the faith that Dave and Andrew put in us to not just represent them, but to be a voice for them and to get the word out for them. Because honestly, at the end of the day, that's all we can do. And I want to thank Lure Cigars for having that same type of faith, and Blackbird Cigars for having that same type of faith in us. And that means something. That means something. Where I am always critical of cigar media is that they are a little too flippant, and they are a little bit too familiar, and they're not very critical, and they're not very digging. I know that our community is. Our community is very critical of what we do. They're hypercritical of what we do and what we say and what we put out and the product that we put out. And so we're going to streamline it, and we're going to take this away, and we're going to have more time now to focus on bringing you the guests that you guys want to hear from, starting December 2nd with Matt Booth. Matt Booth is going to be here with us, and we're going to record live for our Patreons December 2nd at 7:00. If you're not a member of the Patreon, if you're not a member of our community, you can join for $36 a year, and you can have access to this, and you'll get it 3 days early before anybody else, because the podcast is still going to go out to everybody, but it's not going to go out live. They'll go out every Friday, like clockwork, beginning December 5th, if my math is right. Friday, December 5th, and then the 12th, and then the 19th, and then the 26th, and then January, whatever, because I'm not looking at a calendar because I'm producing the show. So that's what we're doing. That's what I've learned, is that sometimes you have to streamline, and that sometimes, I know, much to the chagrin of Tim, you can look that word up later.
Will do.
You have to have a soapbox, and sometimes you don't. So we're going to take the soapbox away, and we're going to go to just having a mini soapbox on Clear the Air. And we're going to go to, focusing on what matters. And that's the industry. This industry that we all love, around these cylinders of dead leaves that we put in our mouths and we enjoy, which I'm enjoying a McAuliffe Green right now. And that's it, man. That's it. Simply Stogies is going to continue to light up conversations one cigar at a time. We're going to continue to be boutique as fuck and proud of it. And we hope you join us tomorrow for Clear the Air, where we talk about Brian Desmond behind his back and put it out for everybody to listen to, including Brian if he so chooses. And then join us on the 15th, where we have Dave West from smallbatchcigar.com, where he gives us that 15% off that you can see right now. Go use coupon code Stogies. It was a great conversation with Dave, and it was a great conversation with Jimmy and with Tim about Brian and all the things that he's doing in the industry. We're going to continue to light up conversations one cigar at a time. I hope you do too. Until next time, stay smoky, friends.